What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Remy. This is my first video, so forgive me if it's not perfect like all the other YouTubers and all the other YouTube channels. Um, I've been wrestling with making this channel for a while now, and just, I guess, documenting everything that I'm about to embark on, everything that I want to embark on. I should say. I'm a little nervous, seeing as this is my first video and things of that nature. So hopefully I get better with time. So I just ask that you bear with me. Looking a little scruff, a little rough right now. The date is June 13th, 2020. And we're now recovering. Well, not completely recovering, but slowly but surely seems like we're recovering from the coronavirus. Everything is starting to open up. I think we're in the middle of phase 1 right now. So I look a little rough because, everything's shut down. Can't really look the way you want to look when things aren't open. You don't have your barbershops open and things of that nature. But back to the main focus of this video. For everyone that knows me, most people that know me, a lot of people don't, because that's something that I really like to talk about or put out there. It's just my own personal issues. But I've been diabetic for, I want to say, close to 2 decades now, and it's something that I just don't really put out there, because when you quote unquote diagnosed with a chronic illness or you're dealing with it, it's not the easiest thing to deal with, and comes with a myriad of emotions and things that you got to go through on a day-to-day basis. So some people just tend to keep it to themselves. But me personally, I just tend to try to keep it to myself and just try to deal with it to the best of my ability. But like I said, after dealing with it for almost 2 decades, I just want to go about things in a more different and organic way. So for 2 decades now, I've just been on basically insulin or synthetic insulin, whatever you want to call it, and it's done its job, meaning it's, I guess, kept me alive in a sense. But from the time I was on it and still being on it currently, it was just something that really didn't sit right with me, and it still doesn't. I just feel like it's not how, you know, I want to live per se. And this is all speaking from my perspective. I know there's people out there who are probably dealing with the same chronic illnesses. Chronic illness or their own quote unquote chronic illnesses. So this is just speaking from my perspective and my emotions and my experience and my feelings. So this is not to devalue anyone else's or, in a sense, tell them what they should be doing or what they should do. This is just, me speaking from, you know, my personal experience and what I want to do moving forward. So ever since I've been diagnosed with this disease, I've always just naturally been, into health. Because when you're diagnosed with something like that, you gotta frequent the doctors, and they all say the same thing: oh, diet and exercise, diet and exercise, diet and exercise. So it becomes second nature to you. So you naturally become, conscious and mindful of the things that you consume, of the way that you live, in order to deal with this disease that you've been diagnosed with. So ever since I was young, I was diagnosed at about age 9, if I'm not mistaken. Age 9. I want to say, yeah. So from then, it's always just been programmed in my mind, like diet and exercise, diet and exercise. You got to be mindful of what you're eating, mindful of how you're living, how you're exercising, things of that nature. If not, things could get worse. And because you weren't mindful of this, now you've been diagnosed with this disease. So ever since then, I've just, taken my insulin, taken my medicine. I've just stayed on top of things, and I've managed to stay healthy by the grace of the Most High, and I've managed to, stay alive, and nothing crazy has happened to me, thankfully. But after, almost 2 decades, I want to say, of, you know, taking medicine and just being mindful of certain things, it just gets very exhausting after a while. And since I've always been big into health, now I've just been learning about different forms of health and different forms of treatment. I want to say, so for the longest time I've been on insulin. For people who are familiar with diabetes or even dealing with it, when you're diagnosed with diabetes, you got to get on insulin in order, because your body doesn't produce insulin. There's different. There's two types: type 1, type 2. Body doesn't produce insulin the way it should, or you have what's called insulin resistance. So basically, in a nutshell, when you're diagnosed as a diabetic, your body just doesn't, your sugar isn't regulated in a, like the way that quote unquote a normal person's body would be regulated. So you have to inject yourself with the insulin in order to keep your sugar regulated, and that can be very, very tedious and very, very frustrating, especially when you start off doing it young. So ever since I was younger, not to say that my mom and my dad wasn't around, but they instilled within me, to stay on top of it on my own, because they let me know, hey, even though we're around now, we may not always be around, or there's times where we're going to be working, so we're not going to be able to stay on top of you and micromanage you or tell you, hey, take your medicine, eat this, eat that. So it's something that they instilled with me at an early age to be on top of. So for a very long time, I want to say practically, my whole life pretty much, I've been, testing my sugars, taking my medicine, and as the years went by, technology, of course, upgrades, but it doesn't really fix the problem, you know? So, which leads to testing your blood sugars. You gotta prick your fingers in order to get the blood out. You gotta put it on the test strip, test your sugar, and then you have to inject yourself with insulin. It's like little needles that you got to put into yourself in order to get the insulin into your body in order for your sugars to be regulated. If not, your sugars are going to be all over the place. It'll be too high or too low, and it has to be steady. If it's too high, you wind up having to go into the ER. They might have to put you on an IV in order to lower it. And if it's too low, you can wind up passing out. So it's a very tedious illness to deal with, because you always have to just be in between, find a way to just be balanced with some way, somehow, some form. Can't be too high, you can't be too low, you just have to be balanced, and it's difficult. It's like walking a tightrope forever, you know what I mean? Like, some people can barely do that for 5 seconds. And when you're diabetic, it feels like you have to do that until you're pretty much gone. So in recent years, I've just been looking into new methods, and I stumbled across what we call Eastern medicine. So basically, and I'm not an expert, I'm still learning a lot as I go along, so I may make mistakes when I'm doing these videos, but I'm not claiming to be an expert. And like I said, I'm going to learn as I go, and hopefully I get better and I grow, and you guys could grow with me, and hopefully I could put something out there that inspires somebody, or I could just plant a seed that gets people interested, or gets people to want to go into that direction of a more natural way, a more organic way of doing things, which can lead to a permanent resolution. This channel is not to bash Western medicine. in a sense, it's just to, I guess, show that there's different forms of medicine out there, more effective forms of medicine. My only issue with Western medicine, I want to say, is that it doesn't completely solve it doesn't completely solve the issues that people are dealing with, the people that are suffering from chronic illnesses. And when I say chronic illnesses, I mean illnesses that people say can't be reversed or it can't be cured. And that's why I put it in quotation marks, because, based on, I do air quotes, because based off my recent studies, I'm arriving to the conclusion that, you know, anything could be anything could be cured, anything could be reversed. You just have to know about it. You just have to know the necessary steps to take and the necessary things to do. And I feel like Western medicine, or Western medicine doesn't do that for you. They teach you ways and how to deal with the chronic illness, but they don't tackle the root cause of the issue. They don't look to tell you, okay, this is what's wrong and let's permanently fix it. It's more so, okay, this is what happens and now you got to live with this for the rest of your life, but this is what you have to do in order to live with it. And, as I mentioned, I'm going on 2 decades of being a diabetic and taking my insulin, and nothing has changed. I haven't been cured. Nothing has been permanently reversed, and it's tiring. And I just don't feel like that's the way that things could be. And now, this is also not a channel to say, okay, oh, this is like conspiracy theorists and things of that nature. No, this is just me just putting information out there and trying to just share my journey with you guys. And whatever you take from it, you take from it. And really just speaking to, people that's suffering from chronic illnesses or whatever illnesses, to let you know that, hey, they could potentially be an alternative method, a permanent alternative method that could lead to your 100%, restoration of health. And so this is pretty much what the channel is going to be about at first glance, and then when all that's said and done, I'll try to transition into something else. So recently, my studies on health have led me to Eastern medicine, like I mentioned before, or quote unquote Chinese medicine, which is a more natural way of doing things, such as, acupuncture. And when people say acupuncture, they automatically think of, Chinese person full with needles. Stereotypical. And I know when I said that, you guys thought of that too. But based off my recent studies, acupuncture is a myriad of things. It's not just, needles. It has to do with, moxibustion and acupressure and herbs and, meditation and energy, and, it's just so much knowledge that comes with that. And it just goes beyond the natural scope of what we think when we first hear acupuncture so much. And when I speak to people who underwent it, who had certain illnesses and they don't have it anymore, or were struggling with certain things, they don't, after undergoing acupuncture, it's completely different. Their lives have been changed, their lives have been altered. And I feel like that is the journey that I want to embark on. And I've spoken to, because I wholeheartedly believe that undergoing acupuncture could, permanently solve this issue that I'm dealing with. Being a diabetic for so long. I know it's not something that's going to happen in a day. I know it's not something that's going to happen overnight. But basically, I feel like if I continuously stay on Western medicine, I'm never going to be completely whole. But if I transition into something else, which is Eastern medicine, a more natural way of doing things, I feel like I could arrive to the goal that I want, which is you know, being the way that I used to be before I was diagnosed. Um, and yeah, that's about it. So I've been, and I want to sort of share that with the people or with anybody else who may be dealing with their chronic illness. So just put some information out there and share this journey. And so I reached out to a few acupuncturists. It's been hard to get a hold of certain people and certain establishments because, like I mentioned, we're still in the middle of Corona. So certain places are open, certain places are not, certain places aren't running on their normal business schedules. So sometimes I reach these people, sometimes I don't. I've been sending emails, I've been sending calls, but what I'm really trying to do is just, document my journey. Document everything that I've been dealing with, everything that I want to deal with. And I spoke to a few acupuncturists who said that they don't mind me coming in and recording. So I do want to record going in, talking to them, whatever treatment that they may give to me. I hope that they'll be cool with it because I really do want to share it with, the public and share it with the people and show people, what I'm doing, what I'm getting involved in, the steps that I'm undergoing. And I sort of just want to, share this journey with people so to inspire them to transition. Again, this is not an attack on Western medicine because, Western medicine has done some things, some positive things, but in a sense of curing like diseases, again, it's like you don't really find that in Western medicine. Like you'll never find somebody who's a diabetic, you know, for as long as I've been, or even longer, saying, "Hey, look, I've been on insulin for a long time, or for how many years, and I'm cured." You know what I'm saying? Or I've been taking this particular drug and I'm cured. You don't find that in Western medicine. But when you transition to Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, you hear a whole bunch of things that, hey, when I first came here, I was diagnosed with this, and I'm not dealing with those issues no more, or they're not as severe, and that's, pretty much what this is going to be about. Just sort of, juxtaposing two worlds views and how they deal with things and seeing the end result or seeing the effects of both treatments. And that's just life, when you have, it's just life and it's the facts and it's the truth. When you have a multitude of things out there, you got to compare, what's best. And whatever is best is what the people should go towards, not just what's here, what's around, and what's being pushed down people's throat, what's being forced down their throat, So, um, so that was pretty much the introduction. It's pretty. I think I'm going on 20 minutes now. Moving forward, I would try to keep these videos short because I know me specifically, I get pretty tired. I start to zone out when videos last more than 15 minutes. But I guess since this is an introduction video, it had to go a little bit longer. So I'll try. I don't know if I could do so, but I'll try to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes long, hopefully, depending on the content that I'm putting out there. If I can't, I apologize. Maybe you could break it up into 2 parts. That's what I do when I am really interested in watching a video and it's too long, I don't have time, I just break it up. If it's 30 minutes, I watch 15 minutes here in the morning and then maybe another 15 minutes. Maybe you guys could do something like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Try to reach out to more acupuncturists this week and try to set something up. Hopefully they're okay with me recording. If they're not, I don't know what's gonna be the alternative. And I'll try to show you guys, some of the things I go through daily and weekly when it comes to, diabetes, such as, testing my sugar, taking my medicine, and things of that nature to show you guys that, this is legit, it's real, it's not like a scam or something I'm trying to do for views. It's just something that I'm really putting out there for the public because, a lot of people are suffering from chronic illnesses, particularly, our people. And oftentimes people don't really want to take advice or listen to it if you can't show the proof or if you haven't undergone it yourself, you know? So that is the purpose of this video. So that's going to be centered really around those 2 points. Evidence, which is why I'm trying to record everything and walk you guys through things that I go through and things that I'm about to go through. And just I put a timer on this and it's kind of distracting me. So the 2 points that I was saying, just evidence, and also, you know, showing evidence, showing people that I've gone through it, and showing people that, you know, they could undergo it as well, and, you know, hope for the best, you know, to see a difference within their health. That's pretty much it. Is there anything else I want to add? No, I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully I could start recording soon. Like I said, we're in phase 1. I think phase 2 should be sometime next week. And things, as soon as things starts to open up a little bit more, hopefully I could get in contact with these people and I could go in, acupuncturists, and I could go in and I could tell them what I'm doing. Hopefully they'll be compliant with it and they'll be cool with it, and I could just have that footage and bring it to you guys and put that information out there. So until next time, later peoples.